Tejay Gilliam. What's going on?
Yes, sir. Everything's good, man. I'm glad to be here. Glad to finally sit down and talk with you.
This has been a long time.
Yes, it has. A lot of tweeting.
Yeah.
A lot of social
schedule arranging. Yeah.
That's
it's crazy.
right. Yeah.
So what's going on with you?
Well, everything, man. Right now, I'm gonna skip right to the business. I'm developing an entertainment company.
Okay.
Right now, we've been incorporated for over 2 years now. I began in Florida, did a few projects with a band, Apartment J, that I'm in and a part of, and we've recently moved up to the Jersey, Philly area over the past year, and so we've done some pretty decent events, some nice getting our feet wet, ventures, and so it's been really exciting, and it's starting to pick up. I'm really big on consistency and persistency right now.
That's good things to be consistent. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's my fuel. That's my fuel right now. November, which we're in now. So we're we're 2 events down now in November already in the first week, and we have a few more to go in November. Yeah.
All right. So just to humor everyone out there in cyberspace, who you are, in case they just might not know who you are.
Well, all right. My name is Tejay Gilliam. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, and CEO, founder of My Example Incorporated, which is an entertainment company basically handling all your entertainment needs. I mean, whatever it is, if we don't do it personally, then we have connections to people who can get the job done.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Yes, sir.
So, music. How did you get started?
Besides singing all my life, right, and getting dragged out of bed, and sing that stylistic, sing that betcha by golly wow. Besides that, I guess you could say I professionally, began my journey around 15, 16 when I was a part of creating a group called Playboy.
Okay.
And started with 3 of us, then it became 4 of us, and for maybe say about almost 3 years, we made a lot of noise in South Jersey, and it was kind of like a Boys to Men-ish type. We had a little bit of all the groups back then, all the bands back then, a little influence from them all, and I learned a lot at that time. The gentleman that was managing us was very keen on entertainment and performing and things like that, so I learned like a lot of the things that I do now still to this day, I learned from over 15 years ago.
Okay. Talk a little bit about, because we had a conversation before we started filming about the business part of entertainment. Talk a little bit about that and how important that is.
It is extremely important, and it is something that is fairly new for me. I actually got a lot of my I've learned a lot about the business, and I've read the books, and and kept my ear to it, but I always wound up in the studio creating music. Like that's where I'm comfortable. That's and on stage, of course. Actually doing the creative process. So what I'm doing now with My Example Incorporated is fairly new, and it's something that people have always encouraged. People that are close to me have always encouraged me to be the head of my craft and ensure my own success. And so that's what I've done, and I understand the importance. I understand that nothing's going to happen without the proper business behind it. But I enjoy it too. It's interesting. It's fun, and it can be hard. It can be very hard because I'm an artist. And I am sensitive.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly. But what better way to have total control over what you constantly birth?
Absolutely.
Is that know the business.
Yes, absolutely. And I've taken advantage advantage of. Actually, too many times.
Yeah, I hear a lot of that.
Too many times, just because it is so much more, or it can be comfortable. I got into a position where it's, comfortability. I want to create, and I want someone to handle the business. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like if we all had it our way. You know what I mean? We would just, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
once upon a time in the olden days when record companies used to take people in and groom them and set them up, and they would take care of all the business. They just wanted them to do the artistic part.
That's what I was hoping.
Those days are long gone.
Yes, which has turned into a good thing though, because we get to, like you said, be in control and know what we're doing, and setting our own, standards, and of course reaping the benefits, and having control of that, and so that's probably the best part.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, because this is your first time meeting me and me meeting you, but I do know your other family members.
Sure.
So Oil House Productions.
Yes.
Your brother and your sister.
Yep.
It's in the family.
Yes, it is.
What is it like growing up in an artistic family?
Oh man, it's funny because I never really get to talk about that. But it was pretty interesting. I have 2 sisters and 1 brother. I'm the youngest. And so now my oldest sister, Terry, who is a lot older than I am, maybe some 20 years.
Wow.
Okay. And so she was out of the house, early, and I was like her baby. She was like my second mother, and so that was crazy. But the closer siblings, my brother Travis and Tangi, who you know, we had a tight knit, and so we used to sing a lot, write poetry, and all of these things. And my dad was definitely big on it. He wasn't Joe Jackson with it, but
Are either of your parents artists?
My mom actually, and she doesn't like to talk about this. This is so weird, but she actually recorded a record.
Wow.
Yeah. Vinyl, right?
Okay.
A single.
Wow.
Back in the day, and let her tell it. That was like all it was. It was this one time where they went to the studio. Maybe they performed once or twice or what have you. I guess I really don't know the extent because she won't talk a lot about it. But they actually recorded a record, and that was a big deal, at that time. So she likes singing. She got more into singing later on in her life again in church. Okay. Singing in the choir. So we used to actually sing in the same choir. Okay. So we got to do that as I got older and she got older. And my dad, who can sing but never does, he just, they always kept music around. And so I
loved off.
Yeah. I mean, it was the old soul, music that really captured me. I mean,
So tell me the artist that pulled you in. Who inspires you?
I hate to say it, but all of them. And the reason why I say that though is because I really have taken pieces from everyone. I mean, even the ones that I don't like. I always tell people the ones that I didn't necessarily like, they influenced me on what not to do. They showed me, what I didn't want to. The routes that I didn't want to go. But even like with my singing, I was never professionally trained at it, so I would just mimic, and I was pretty good at it. So it's like if you can mimic Michael Jackson, then that means you can sing.
Much. and it's always been my rule of thumb: the people that can mimic are the people that are probably the better singers because you are getting a variance of style. Yeah. I remember watching an interview with Vesta Williams.
Oh yeah.
She great backup singer in the beginning. She was mimicking Anita Baker. She went to Chaka Khan. And she just went so on and so forth. That's how talented it is.
Man, and she is amazing.
Yeah, right.
She's amazing. Yes.
So that's a testament to you.
Okay. Well, thank you. I remember across the street from me a long time in Willingboro, New Jersey. There was a day that, and he was into music. He was a DJ for a long time, and then he, bought some studio equipment, and so we, got closer that way.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me one day, and I really almost cried because I believed him. It made sense. It resonated. And he said, you found your voice.
Wow.
Yeah, one day, and I might have been like 25, and so here all this time I've been singing and I've been killing them, but it made sense when he said you finally found your voice, which takes me back to what I, was saying and how I used to mimic. I would just kind of make this collage, my voice would just, on one sentence, one phrase I would sound like R. Kelly, on another phrase I would sound like Ron Isley.
Yeah.
But then, now and since that point, where my friend James, where he was, mentioning, I believe that I finally had found my own voice.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful. I can see why you would be. That's powerful.
Yeah, that was moving.
So now we say that. Describe your sound.
My sound. Wow. It's definitely old soul.
Mm-hmm.
I have an old soul. I don't even know what that means. But, you know what I mean? Like, how do you have an old soul? What does that mean? Was I here before? I don't know. But I just identified with, late 60s, early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So much. I just felt like that's really when I should have been, around. But, so you will hear that no matter what I'm singing. If it's a upbeat pop song or if it's a slow song, you will hear. Yes, you will hear passion. You will hear substance and soul, and bit raspy sometimes.
Yeah.
My sound is cool, and it's always about love, which is involved with the songwriting too. Mm-hmm. But you can hear it in my voice as well. Like I mean what I say most times, really all of the time. I was just saying the other day that what was I saying? I was just saying that because I don't perform all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not a stage chaser, like right. But when the right opportunity presents itself, or
of substance.
Yeah, of substance. Something that just fits, it works. I'm very big on vibe. Mm-hmm. But getting back into the shows and things like that, which I am now, I remember that I really mean what I'm saying. Like it just, it was a reminder for me.
And that's
one
important.
Day.
That's important
because
even the whole delivery is different when you mean what you're delivering. The whole delivery it changes the whole mood.
Absolutely.
It's the difference between somebody standing up and clapping for you and being like, "I'm out of here."
Right. Or turning the other way.
Talking,
finishing their conversation.
Exactly.
Yes, I understand. Yes.
So saying all that, what do you think about some of today's music that doesn't have that depth in it?
It's not a secret. I like the way you asked that. You know what I mean? Just put it right out there.
Hey.
I mean, we all know that there is a lot of music that, a lot of artists and producers who feel like it's maybe not necessary to have that type of passion anymore. They can sell millions of records without it and make lots of money. So I do understand. But I also sometimes feel that there's a bigger picture here. Mm-hmm. There's more going on behind the scenes, because when you day to day, and I think I may have heard a comedian say something like this. You got a lot of closet. It's like who really likes this music? Basically, is what I'm saying. Because when I talk to people, when I meet people and talk to people, we have conversation.
Everybody's on the same page.
Most of them are adults, granted, so I know the kids like this stuff, but a lot of the adults that I talk to, they're like not fans of this music, and so it makes me wonder, like, well, who's really pushing this? You know, and
machine.
are the people really asking for it, or is it being pushed on them? And then, you know, one of the things I think about with that is how you'll hear a song, or I'll say I will hear a song for the first time, and I'm like, nah, no way, next. And then, you know, 2 weeks later, it's like, that's my joy, you know.
You're hypnotized.
You're hypnotizing me, you know. My first response was the right response.
Yeah.
You know, and the next response is compromise.
Yeah.
You know.
I am a firm believer that music makes the world go round. And
Absolutely.
as you were talking, I had a thought, and the thought was, maybe that's what's wrong with people today. The climate of the music.
Right.
Did you know that Nivea sponsors, the lotion sponsors a day called Touch Day?
Touch Day? No, I didn't know that.
They came out with a day called Touch Day.
All right.
You now have to tell people when to touch each other.
Oh, right.
So I'm jumping back and forth, and I'm going back to the music because the climate of the music doesn't have any depth to it.
No.
When you have depth to something, you care about it. There's passion in it. There's touching.
Absolutely.
Where's the baby making music?
Yes,
where's the depth?
Oh no, we just
need that.
We just
pretty
we
much.
ain't making love. We
Straight across
right now. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is huge. You know, I'm not big on politics, but I guess I could say that I'm big on social matters, and you know, and how we react to things and how we deal, you know, how we evolve. And I definitely noticed the correlation between, the influence of music and what we're seeing, the actions that we're seeing in our communities. And once again, you're touching on subjects that I was just recently, you know, I guess I talk about this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But we were, you know, because my lady and I, we listen to all kind of music, and sometimes we have to remind ourselves to listen to other cultures, you know, and other styles of music. And so we were,
especially being a musician.
Absolutely.
Like you have to.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to keep your ear to everything, and I love everything. So we were in the car going to the mall, and so we turned on, you know, another culture's type, you know, music, another genre. Outside of hip hop, R&B, so it was like, you know, rock stuff, and we had her daughter in the car, so we played like some of the teen rock stuff, and you know, and just listening to their music, to that music, you know, I was comparing it to the music that I'm accustomed to, and going back to the people again and how we react. And how the people who listen to the other style of music, how their lives are, and how they, deal, and even their lyrics, you know. Yeah. So, what I noticed was in a lot of those songs, they're not just about love. A lot of them about social matters. A lot of them about, I would even call them inspirational songs. You know, Hannah Montana song came on, and one of her lyrics was, oh man, it's about the climb. It's not about reaching the top. It's something like that. It's something to the effect of, and I'm probably tearing it all up, but something to the effect of, it's not about being on the top, but it's about the climb. You know, and I'm just like, wait a minute, this isn't about love. This isn't about my girlfriend, your boyfriend, you know what I mean? Like, it's about, you know, it's inspirational. She just, you know, they're talking about having self-esteem and, you know, being proud and, you know, being ambitious and, you know, things like that. So when you look at the difference, you know, between the cultures, you know, it's almost like to ignore this and to deny the relevancy of music and whether or not it's influential. You know, I even had a conversation recently about the rap, rap music, and it's always been a question of chicken or the egg. What came first? Did the violence come first, or did the rap come first? Did the hatred for each other come first, or did are the rappers talking about what they're seeing, or are they talking about what they think is cool, and then it's happening now? And I think it's time that we own up to not just our responsibility as artists, but just own up to the reality that you probably could help us out by tailoring your lyrics a little bit.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer that if anyone has a platform, that they should use that and always pay it forward in a positive way.
Sure.
I don't care what your platform is. Use it in a positive way.
There's no point in doing the opposite. I mean, unless you intentionally, which brings me back to a somewhat political, comment. Are you trying to do this purposely?
Yeah.
How
strategic is it?
Yes. I mean, because when you deal with these $1 million companies, billion-dollar companies, Sony, Universal, and all of these, even Def Jam, which I'm gonna bring into play because I hear Russell defending his position, his company, and his artists so much, and I think he's one of the people that could look at it one more time and reevaluate, and because it's just like you just hear the same thing over again. They're not role models, and it's the parents' job. What else? They're just speaking about their experience. Now, the one thing I do understand and agree with is, yes, you are giving them an opportunity to learn business. You are giving them an opportunity to move their families out of the hood, make money, and do better for themselves. But what about the listeners? What about, so.
Is that artist themselves the hope?
Right.
Or do they pay it forward and share?
Exactly. Correct. And
because you can't do both. You can't put them out there and then say, "Oh, I'm not a role model." Well, then let them feed on something. Then give them something to feed on. Don't just let it be you.
Right.
Because you can't live up. You can't do the job. So pay it forward.
That's right.
Yeah.
I agree.
We're getting real deep here today.
Oh yes. And I can get there.
I love it though. I love it. One of the reasons that I created this show was because I wanted to talk to people of interest to me that are artists, but to give a window to the person behind the art. It's almost like behind the music, but not behind the music.
Sure.
Having a conversation with Chike.
Yes, sir.
And I just wanted your personality to come out, so you gave me exactly what I needed.
Awesome. Yeah, this is me all day.
Okay, so now back to you. What do you have coming up? Were you performing anywhere? How come people come see you?
Besides the social networks, Tejay Gilliam. The next place I'll be performing is Jones Effect's birthday extravaganza. And Jones Effects is a phenomenal friend of mine. He's an amazing person. I'm finding myself these days not finding the words, when I speak about him, because
shout out to Chris Jones.
Yes, shout out to Chris Jones, aka Jones Effects. It's just something that he's just somebody you have to experience.
Yeah.
You have to be in his presence to understand what it is I'm trying to say.
Right. I've met him. He's an entity. He's a force.
Yes.
Yeah. He's a good energy, brother.
Yes, sir. And I mean, he'll do anything for anyone in a positive light, So he's having a grand birthday extravaganza at the Arts Garage in Philadelphia, and we just, I want to thank Ola, the owner over there. He's been more than gracious, and we have the whole Arts Garage. You've been there, I'm sure. Yeah. They have 2 nice stages and the downstairs as well with the food and everything. So we have the whole place to celebrate his birthday, and we're bringing out his friends and family, and that friend list is,
huge. I'm
huge.
sure.
Yes, so we're gonna have great musicians, well-known musicians.
Tell them where to get in touch or find tickets or however they.
Well, really just look up Jones Effects on Facebook, Jones Effects on Twitter, or My Example INC.com, which is our website for our entertainment company. And there you can find links to myself, Jones Effects, Corinne's Place, which is another one of our ventures. A lot of things, that we have going on. One of the other events that we have this month is Tyron Patrick Designs is having a fashion show. So it's Fashion Addicts and My Example Incorporated present Breaking All the Rules.
Okay.
And that's November 25th, and that's going to be at Treasures Banquet Hall.
Okay.
And that's just going to be, I guess I'll say fabulous. That's going to be fabulous.
When you talk fashion,
you got to say
fabulous.
fabulous. Yeah, so that's going to be awesome. So we're excited for that too.
That's very good. Seems like you're a busy dude.
Well, yes, and I'm thankful to, be a lot more busier, more busy than I was last year. And that's something that I strive for, is to stay busy with quality work. Like I said, I'm not, just out there, One of the things that I wanted to focus on, one of the things that we focus on with My Example is Incorporated is transitioning the shows and concerts from out of the bar. How kind of like how it used to be when I was growing up in the singing group, we used to do halls.
Right.
We used to do concert halls, stages, and if we couldn't get a concert hall, we would just get an empty firehouse and put a stage in it.
Right.
And it would be about the show.
Right.
And so I think that since, the economy, when the economy started to dwindle a little bit, we've seen a merge of concerts at the bar now.
Right.
Because the bar owners need people,
right.
Which is understandable and it's cool. I love it, and I'll do it. But at the same time, we still
need.
Like
the big stage.
Yeah, there's nothing like, feeling like, you're important, because you are.
Yeah.
I always tell people the main attraction at a bar is the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
if you're up there singing,
and even in the physical sense, I'm not a singer, but I know the difference of what it's like to stand on a stage in a small room or in a little small concert hall, or to actually standing on a stage and you have an orchestra pit.
That's
and,
right.
You have like a large audience. Does something totally different to your pH balance.
That's right. It's funny you say that. Again, just this past Wednesday, which was 2 days ago, we had an event. We produced an event at the Ritz Theater Company in Haddon Township, New Jersey, which they have been open over 20 years, I believe, maybe 30 years, and they do Broadway plays. They do, real theater, and we had saw Cats, and from seeing Cats, we built a relationship with them, and on our first project together, we did an open art at their Wednesday evening theater series, they call it. It was a Wednesday night, and I felt like it would be a good idea to kind of open up the open mic type of show for more forms of art, because not every form of art utilizes a microphone.
Exactly.
So we called it open art, being that it's a theater, and we were actually very successful at getting some different, genres out, different facets of entertainment. We had a dancer, we had comedians, we had Jones Effects did a monologue.
Wow.
And of course I sang. I opened up the show, and it was a great time. It was
so basically like a variety show.
It was.
I love that.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
love that.
I'm glad. It was awesome. So we're proud of what we're doing right
That's
now.
good.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're doing huge things.
Great. Thanks.
I appreciate you coming by and having a conversation.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it. And you can have this. This is just a CD that I put together. It's promotional use.
Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. Always glad to get some art. Tejay Gilliam, check him out.